R&D Network, proud sponsors of the We Live, We Learn podcast.
Okay, stand by. Camera rolling. And in 3, 2, 1.
Whew,
We're here again,
we're back.
season 2,
Hold on.
episode.
They heard the new rhythm.
Trust me,
They heard the new rhythm.
we live, we learn, we learn, we
learn
learn.
my life. We live, we learn, we learn my life. We live, we learn, we learn my life. Formidable, no compromise. From localize, we globalize. You want the mind to pay the price. You open eyes and realize.
Chase.
Listen, head over to the Spotify, check out the We Live, We Learn theme. That's the tune that you heard. Bring us into this episode right now.
Trust me.
We're on episode 2, season 2. We're doing it again. Told you, we're not going nowhere. We're doing it again.
We're here.
So, welcome back to the We Live, We Learn podcast. And we start the show, as you know, how we always do.
Always.
It goes, we live,
We learn.
we learn.
We're live.
Come on.
Come on. Oh shit.
Welcome to our home. Welcome to our new home.
But listen, wipe your feet first, meaning subscribe. Click the notification bell and add. Follow us, spread the word, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, we're all over the place. We're here and we're not going anywhere.
Do you know, I was going to say something, and I just remember that documentary on Netflix came out and I can't use that anymore.
Yeah, don't say that thing.
What
But anyway,
So,
let's get to more important.
you're here with your hosts. I'm Marks.
I'm Rems.
And on this episode today, we're going to be diving into a topic that has a tendency to kind of divide opinion, especially when it comes to the creative, cultural aspects of music. So we're talking up the differences between cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation. And we're here with our special guest,
Yes.
a guest who knows her way around the spectrums of music,
Trust me.
having released her debut album Honeymoon in 2019.
Tell him.
Amassing over 11 million
Oh,
streams
Where
on
did you find
Spotify.
La, la, la,
She
la, la, la,
followed
la,
that
la.
up with her self-produced EP,
What?
What's a Diamond to a Baby?
Yes.
That was in 2021.
What?
So this guest has performed at the Red Bull Music Academy,
She has.
sharing stages with Mahalia, Eric Bellinger, Smino,
That.
those likes, just to name a few.
Just to name a few.
She has had her music featured in a number of TV series, including Michaela Coel's I May Destroy You,
What?
Tyler Perry's Sisters.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Man.
Her artistry has been co-signed by Idris Elba, Michaela Coel, and DJ Jazzy Jeff. What you know about that? You know Jazzy Jeff, the one that used to get dashed out of the Fresh Prince's yard?
Yeah.
That Jazzy Jeff.
Go home, Jeff. We're still going. The
Listen,
accolades are
man.
accolading.
I could go on,
We can.
but we won't,
We won't.
because we want to talk to her.
Yes.
So ladies and gentlemen, fellas and females, let's give up for the sensational Emmavie.
Hey!
Thank you for that amazing introduction.
I
Listen,
know,
man.
man.
I wasn't expecting that.
You will get none other like that.
Oh,
Because
man.
they don't put in the
said,
love
"Oh, man."
and energy that we put into it. They'll come close,
No,
but they
it is
won't
what
do
it
it
is.
like we do it.
Gosh, that's
You
very
know?
sweet.
No, listen, we appreciate you coming.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, you could have been anywhere, but you're here
chose
with
to be
us.
here.
Chose to be here. So we have to, you know, put the effort in,
Yeah.
you know, but it's weren't really too much effort to put in because it's easy to find and, you know, you're doing so much things.
Yeah.
It's about how much can we fit in?
Yeah.
That was our issue. We have to cut it down. We have to
true.
cut it down. But,
Bless
you
you.
know, we're thankful you're here, you know,
I'm
and
thankful
Appreciate
to
you.
be here. Thank you for inviting me.
yeah, you're excited about the topic, yeah?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
I
we're
think
gonna get
we
into it, man.
we started having this conversation when we first met, and it was already getting heated at that point. So I'm just like, all right, let's see what happens.
It won't get heated today.
It won't get
What's
heated.
up,
We won't get here
Ready
today.
to talk, yeah, so he says.
Listen, way too cool for that.
Yeah.
Your
Blue
oven gloves,
glasses, blue background. It's cool.
I love
You
the
know me, I like
glasses.
red, blue.
We're calling. So
get me?
yeah, man, listen, before we get into it, we're going to play a game, quick one, just, you know, warm up the mood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's called 30 seconds. So we're going to ask you 3 things and you've got 30 seconds in total to answer all 3 things.
Okay.
Lilia's going to do the timer. Let us know when you're ready, and my honourable man.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
3 sounds that shaped your musical identity.
Harmonies, drums with intention, and it's not really a sound, but something that's like harmonies or chords that sound seductive.
Okay. 3 genres or artists that live in your musical DNA.
For real. NERD, I'm going to make that one. No, sorry. Neptune's going to make that one. Erykah Badu. Oh, it's a bit tough because things change now. Oh, who would I say?
Time's ticking.
Let me come back to that last one.
3 things you're excited about in music right now.
I am loving the emergence of sub-genres from the young people.
We're going to let her finish because she's on. Go.
I think that like,
or
because there's like globalization happening, there's all these little pockets of really cool things happening where like young kids are really taking like ownership over their new ideas. And I'm going to say nostalgia is like overdone.
Okay.
So I like the fact that there's young
Newness.
people bringing new ideas.
Love it. We're going to have to change that 30 seconds
No,
to 1 minute.
she cheated, but we're going to let
I
that run.
cheated, sorry.
Bare cheated, and we allowed her to.
What's the
we're
famous game
facilitators.
show saying? You started, so we'll let you finish.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
no, well said, we like that. So, yeah, man, we're going to move on. Get into the topic of discussion.
Talk the things, bro.
Appropriation versus appreciation. All right? The act of taking something for one's own use, often without permission. Appreciation, relating to acknowledging and valuing something or someone.
Yes.
Now, that's not our definition. It's Oxford Dictionary. So don't get out to us. But what we want to know is what is your definition of appropriation versus appreciation when you're talking culturally?
First, the way that I would define cultural appropriation is when someone takes like a cultural artifact, so like ideas, traditions, and they exploit it for their own, any kind of like beneficial gain. So anything that's like exploiting it for profit, for attention, because that's the currency right now, or even if it was like for laughs. I think what I would say is the harm of cultural appropriation, which makes it different to appreciation, is that appreciation doesn't come with harm. Appropriation typically perpetuates like negative stereotypes of a culture. It's like wearing a costume, and typically when someone's appropriating like a cultural artifact, they are leaving behind the people that made it. So if someone's going to like culturally appropriate, they're going to take an idea as though it didn't come from somewhere, and they're going to wear it like it was their own, even though it's, and there's a lack of honoring the culture, or even like just showing appreciation, which is what the difference is. So I think appreciation is just what the word is that somebody, if they were going to show or they were going to borrow something from a culture, what they would do is they would make it a homage. So they would like make it obvious, you know, like when you do an essay and you need to source where you got your ideas from.
Bibliography.
Yes, exactly that.
Citation.
What they would do is like they'd make it really clear what their intentions were when they weren't to exploit, it was to appreciate. And I think it's really simple. It's really easy to like, what's the word?
Yeah.
To cross the line into appropriation by just getting carried away a lot of the time.
Sick.
But yeah, I think everyone has like, what's the word? Good intentions. It's just it doesn't always play out that way.
Whoa,
What you say
that
everyone,
was super articulate. You know,
No,
you see,
but very-
you see the way I'm like raw.
But what we're going to
read.
She
Crazy.
She can read. So great stuff you done. But what we're going to do, we're going to go through it anyway. What you said, you summarized it brilliantly.
Yeah.
I couldn't say it better myself. But we're just going to get into the details of what we've gone through and what we just, what you just basically said just now.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into segment 1. Basically, what you just said, borrowed or stolen.
Yeah.
You know, can any one person or group own a genre or style?
I think because of globalization, like I mentioned about the new subgenres, is that ultimately no idea is new. Every idea comes from somewhere. And because like now you can post something online, like never before, I can post something right now that like I believe I have some ownership over, and somebody in Australia can see it a minute after I've posted it, and what's the word? What would happen is because
Borrow it.
Yeah, they'll borrow it. What happens when you put something online is that like it becomes free game, and like there is a real like a person's not going to then DM me and ask permission to like use something that I've developed.
Okay.
And I think where the like difference between borrowed and stolen happens is typically when there's like there is no like social contract in place to say, okay, who's allowed to use this thing. And I think as soon as something goes online specifically, it is free game. It's like I can't copyright a TikTok that I put out. So
Right.
people are assuming, I think what happens is that because of trends, people, like the point of TikTok is to kind of exploit a trend. So like, I'm not going to say, oh, but don't use this because I'm Nigerian and it's about my background. It's like, as soon as it goes online, I've made it free game.
But don't timestamps help protect against that? Because I'd imagine that everything's digital now.
Yeah.
I mean, stealing is not new.
Yeah.
It's always been done. But now we're in the digital age where everything travels so fast.
True.
It travels quickly, far and wide.
Yeah.
Right? But does the digital timestamp count for anything?
Nope. Because if, let's say, going back to the question about like who owns a genre, it's like, I think what happens is there's so much fusion happening at the moment that like, actually it's really difficult to define a genre unless it's like, if it's like, I don't know, like really spiritual, classical music or something like that, where
Traditional.
like a really traditional music. A lot of what's happening right now is that everything feels like it wasn't original, and everything, a lot of things aren't. So it's that like, there isn't like a single owner of a genre, but there is like there's a starting place. And so therefore a timestamp right now, if I put out a dance or something like that on TikTok, it's probably going to be an interpretation of something that existed before. So a timestamp would be made irrelevant in that conversation.
So there's an issue with even understanding what the genre is to start with,
Yeah.
it sounds like. Because for me, I'm thinking to myself, like, what does borrowed music, or what, should I say, when does borrowed music become appropriation? But if there's no identity or no foundation for the art form, how do we know what is and what isn't? Is appropriation really a term that's becoming outdated itself?
You know what? In a way, I think it always just depends on what genres you're talking about. I think if we're like going back to some more like classical genres, they do have a foundational point and they had a meaning. They had like a reason why someone did that. Whereas when we're listening to music now, it is really difficult because so much of the music is even just digital and it's sampled and it's like people who are self-taught just like absorbing sounds from like their surroundings and the internet. It's like something that comes out now, it would feel like it didn't have an original source. But actually if it was like, I don't know, Afrobeats or if it was country music, historically there is like a timestamp. There is a point where you could say classical music, or not classical music, Afrobeats came out of this specific place and then therefore it like does have an origin.
Boy, man, that's left us in a bit of a pickle, hasn't it?
No. Well, yeah.
I mean, can I ask you, like, because I remember the first conversation we had, it's that, and what you mentioned about is appropriation.
Hold on, no, you can't guide the conversation.
No, I just want to ask, I just want to ask.
No.
Okay,
No.
okay, I won't.
No. We're living and learning together.
Yes.
Let's
Sorry.
live and learn. No, for real though.
Yeah.
All right, because we're going to double back. I know what point you want to get to, and we're going to double back on it.
Yeah.
If you had to gatekeep one genre from crossover artists, like which one are you protecting and why?
Gosh, I think anything black. I'm just going to be honest. I think specifically what we've seen in black culture is that people take from the culture and they don't put anything back. And it doesn't happen, not that it doesn't happen, but you don't see it happening with such negative effects from any other culture. Typically what's happening is if you borrow something from like black, Afro, Caribbean backgrounds, is there isn't any sort of like, I don't want to say reparations, but there's not like someone gives back to the community afterwards. So that like literally anything black is typically being borrowed or stolen without any like repayment.
Yeah.
So there's there's an ownership issue.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because I was watching something about a week or two ago, and they were saying in terms of copywriting, like in terms of music copyright, it only came into power when blacks started sampling.
Yes, I saw that.
You know, other music.
Yes.
But when Elvis Presley was sampling, what's her name, Hound Dog, nothing was done
There was
about
nothing
it.
in place.
In that rock and roll blues era, a lot of things were getting borrowed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people were getting away with it. But when we started to, you know, use influences and whatnot.
Yeah.
No, that's when copyright and trademark
True.
came into play.
And it's an amazing segue,
Yeah.
Rems, like for our segment 2, which is like tourists versus collaborators, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
Yeah.
which collaboration felt like cultural tourism to you? I mean, one that you can just think of off the top of your head. I'll give you some examples. You've got Rema and Selena Gomez with the
Yeah.
Calm Down remix. You got Fireboy DML with Ed Sheeran on the Peru remix.
Yeah.
I know people have
Big
different
up Ed
opinions of these. So, giving the back game away. Yeah, but yeah, you got people with different views on these things. So
Yeah.
tourism as in just passing
Yeah,
through and
yeah.
just taking,
Yeah.
or collaboration where you're actively involved. Which ones stand out to you?
Gosh, it's a difficult one for me because I think, let's say with all of the ones that you just mentioned, ultimately the music was good. So it's like, and I imagine that the artists aren't like so protective of the genres. So like, I don't think it's like for me to decide, because Rema probably wanted to have Selena Gomez on a song because between them, you got millions of followers and listeners. So it's that like, it was a good profitable decision and probably there was a lot of like business at stake. So ultimately for him, he profits from that. But the culture, I'm just like, I don't know how much since has like Selena Gomez been like, okay, now let me give back to the Nigerian community.
Thank
now.
you.
Has that ever happened? Has
Thank
she
you.
done something like
But
that?
does she need to though?
Well,
Yeah, she done it.
She profited from that as
But
well.
I mean, Rema profit. They're both profited.
Okay, I think it's really. I think what happens is that like we make some like people ambassadors of like an entire country because they're a really famous person, and ultimately there's a way that like when someone is famous, they're representing the country, but like the work that they're doing isn't really necessarily putting back into the community, and it's just like it's not. I don't know about what Rema does. I don't know if he was like, okay, this thing blew up, so I'm going to bring a lot of people through, but typically it's just buying them another house.
Yeah.
I think even in saying that though, there's a little bit of that we have to look at where someone like Rema benefits, who I believe he still lives in Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
So even buying the house, he's still putting money back into that economy.
Yeah.
You understand? He's still spending his money there. So that's a benefit
Yeah.
on its own. I do think that many things come from that, whether they're getting their just deserves and the correct credit and the correct reparations for their work.
Yeah.
That's probably a whole new topic that
Business
we
side of things, yeah.
exactly that we can touch on. And
Yeah.
then again, it's something that you said that brings me to ask another question, which is should an artist's influence, i.e. Selena Gomez, be a fair defense
yeah.
for borrowing music from other cultures without having to give back?
I'm going to try and be fair and actually like argue for the other side. I think if you do have someone who's as influential as the Selena Gomez and they are using like their likeness to prop up a different community, then yes, there's definitely going to be benefits to that. And as you said about like Rema having a house or still living in Nigeria and putting back into the economy, I think if that is how that's going to happen, then yeah, that's a good idea. I just think there's like there has to be like concrete evidence of that. I think a lot of what we talk about when we have these conversations are hypotheticals. It's that like we don't know actually if anyone else except for Rema and I'm imagining one of the big three labels ate that money and whether it went anywhere else. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, but I understand it. I think it is really like if someone's going to get a superstar to be on African music and it mean that it becomes a global hit, I feel like that is good for the genre.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that? We saying segue for segment 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we want to talk about who's watching these
Yeah.
things and who's profiting. So I like what you did there. It's almost like you read our script beforehand.
Like that, yeah,
I anticipated what
Trust
you were
me.
going to say.
No, so first and foremost, yeah, we've got a part of the responsibility sits with the listeners, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all good saying that person shouldn't collaborate with that person, but if the listeners are listening to it,
Yeah.
Who are
then where does the buck stop? So do the listeners themselves have a responsibility when consuming music inspired by cultures that are not their own?
I think, gosh, I'm going to try and like not go too off topic, but I think typically like the onus for something shouldn't be on a consumer. I think the same way that like as another example is, let's say, the ozone layer is destroyed, and it shouldn't be up to me to like use less energy, because ultimately it's going to be some massive corporation,
nother topic.
right? That's putting all the pollution into the air. So I think it's a nice to have to ask consumers to be knowledgeable on the topics, so that like they're putting their listening where like the profits are going to the right communities, or at least the owners of a genre or something. But I wouldn't say the responsibility lies with them. I think it's just, it's nice to have people be informed and like educated on that stuff. I think ultimately, the other thing I was just thinking is, when I'm thinking about black music specifically, because I think that's where we see most of things being borrowed from in like popular and mainstream music right now, I think the music is always going to be, the reason someone's going to take it is because it's really good. And because if it's wavy, it's like it becomes trendy. So it's like people are naturally just going to bend to whatever is popular. And I think for that, like, I'm not going to be able to stop people listening to something because, oh, someone's borrowed from this, or this is cultural appropriation. I think it's just it's a sign of how good the cultural artifacts are coming out of our communities.
You make a very, very good point there. And again, just leading into, our next question is for our non-African and non-black even listeners, like, is Afrobeats a vibe that you feel is a vibe?
Afrobeat is a vibe that everyone could tap into, or is it just an African thing? It's just our thing.
I think it's become so like global. Popular. It's like everything that is popular becomes pop music. So I think what like we might be referring to today as Afrobeats isn't exactly
A-pop.
like exactly. It's
A-pop.
exactly.
Wow, what's that? What's that? 2075 A-pop.
A-pop.
Wow.
It is,
But yeah.
because there's elements of the Afrobeats music now that's more pop.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not like Fuji music from 1970.
Fuji,
Do you know what I mean?
though.
It's not even like fella, it's not jazz. It's like, it is a more mainstream genre that like takes sensibilities from like pop music and hip hop and just has the rhythm of Afrobeats. And I think like, what's my point?
Let me before while you're thinking.
Yeah.
Because again, we're back to the ownership part.
Yeah.
So if Afrobeats, new age Afrobeats, is a fusion of all these collective genres,
Yeah.
Who owns? Yeah.
who owns it?
That's where it gets, the water is so muddy.
But let's have it right. Somebody else we're singing in English. We're rapping in English.
Exactly.
You know what
I mean, exactly that. It's like, I'm actually like, our ancestry is not in this country, but like Black British is an identity. So it's like, it started somewhere and there is a kind of like timestamp. I think it's just really difficult. There's like things that are like so prevalent in our culture that only exist here and in Canada now, because there's something like happening between.
You sounded like Drake right now.
Yeah, do you see what I'm saying? There is just like borrowing of like these things that's happening.
Yeah, I hear
but like, yeah, like you were saying, I think right now it's so hard to pinpoint
melting pot,
who
man.
owns any like genres that are happening right now.
That's crazy to me, because up until today, in my head, Afrobeats is African.
Yeah.
Point blank period.
Yeah.
But now it's opened up another conversation for me in the sense that, for real, who really owns it? Like, there has to be a point of, this is where it starts from. We own this. I don't know if it's trademarking or what do you call it? Copyrighting or whatever it is, and then say moving forward, anything that's built out of this, you need to pay. Even when you look at like, in reference to like Wiley and Grime, like everyone says Wiley's the godfather.
Pay
of Grime
your
and-
taxes.
like who gets credited and who's responsible for this? And then again, even that there's a question in the sense of, all right, you've brought the field, but maybe this set of people have made it popular.
Yeah.
Like,
Gosh.
do they not deserve a share in it? I'm not saying they do or they don't. I'm
Yeah.
just asking the question.
They
like,
do. It's
you
their
get me?
work. I was just going to say, ultimately, Afrobeats is owned by African people. It's just that like mainstream
the table when you
music.
say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Literally, I think it's just that like mainstream music has changed it enough that like it's global music now. And I think that's the way you get around that. And that's how somebody else has ownership over the genre, is that the new version is made for a global listening base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. Even if you go back to reggae, ragga, them times ragga, reggae music. You know,
ska.
after a while it becomes so big,
Yeah.
you get a Peter Andre. Now you can say, oh,
Who's Peter Andre?
he's a culture vulture.
Yeah.
But that song, let's put it to that song is one of those best songs we like. Like it's one
It's
of guilty
true.
pleasures. Peter Andre, UB40, come on. You know, you watch UB40, what's that song? You know
Red
UB40?
Wine.
Gosh, I do know you.
Red Wine.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
allow it.
what I'm
I
trying to
tried to
say-
front on the Peter Andre, but man knows about the UB40.
UB40 is
innit?
Simply Red. Like, you're Simply
Simply
Red.
Red.
Simply
Exactly.
Red, man.
So it becomes,
Simply Red's a
it
big
becomes
artist.
part of it. I think like we
Jamiroquai.
Yeah, it's
come
true.
on, talk the
It's
thing.
true.
You know, Snow. I joke.
Informer. I lie you, I tell. Nah, man. But look, man, for real though, like,
so what I'm trying to say, it's like let's like in the villages, Abaddon, them places in South, you pray for a day when the music becomes big,
Yeah.
and then when it gets to a stage where it's big, it's having other people tapping into it and wanting to emulate it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
okay.
So yeah, it's something that is celebrate. But what it is for me, like personally, sorry, I know you're the guest, but what is it for me?
Say.
It's personally like
Personal.
it's like it's about understanding what you're taking from
Yeah.
and paying homage
Exactly.
and knowing and taking the time to understand. That's why I got to big up my boy Ed Sheeran. You know what I mean?
What did Ed Sheeran
But-
do? I don't think I'm like hip to how he's done his
Well,
research.
that is the next question.
Yeah, I'm stepping out.
Yeah.
Like
He said, "Big up Ed Sheeran." I'm like, bro, you stepped on that on your own, bro.
No.
Nah,
It
nah,
takes us into our own next
It
question,
does,
which
it
is
does.
artists be more accountable when engaging with cultural elements, not naive to them, or is that against creative freedom? And I think, of course, you have to be.
Yeah.
You know, if I go and take like Timbaland back in the day, he had that whole Asian era when he was
Yeah.
taking
Yeah,
Indian music
Yeah.
to the point where he had to bring Indian artists in and
Eventually,
you know,
yeah,
and show.
yeah.
So Ed Sheeran, let me talk about my boy Ed Sheeran
Go on,
quickly.
talk
yeah?
about your boy,
Yeah.
man.
Ed Sheeran started off as an indie artist, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
A perfect indie, just strictly indie. He went into the indie circuit, but
Mm-hmm.
everyone was turning their back on him. Then he found a little light in the grime sector. The grime guys embraced him.
Yeah.
You know, ask Ed Sheeran to spit a Stormzy, Skepta, or Wiley bar.
He doubles back though. He does double back.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, he doubles
Yeah,
back.
that's
He
good.
understands it.
Yeah.
And he always talks about it. They big me up, they embrace me. From there, that's when I got my deal with whoever.
Yeah.
And I went on to success. Like I said, ask him to spit any of the Mandem's bars, up to two now. He spits it and you see the glow in his eyes.
Oh.
And you know
Yeah.
what? Just staying with
To
Ed
the point,
Sheeran. Go on,
to the
go on.
point, where I say Ed Sheeran, he understands it and he knows the genre. To the point where he jumps on a song with Fuse ODG.
Okay. He
Yeah.
that's where I was going with
No,
it.
he jumps on
still.
a song with Fuse ODG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only jumps on a song, he goes to Ghana
Ghana,
and learns Twee.
He stays there. Yeah. I got respect.
Okay,
it.
fair.
I
You know
got
what I'm saying?
respect. it.
Yeah.
You have to rate him because what
Yeah.
we're trying to say is about the difference between culture appropriation versus appreciation.
Yeah.
It
Appreciation.
feels appreciated
I
from Ed.
understand this. This is sacred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
But
this is how things are done. Big up the people. I've got a cosign from someone that's respectable within the thing, and I'm going to jump on it. And let's have it right. That helped Fuse ODG as well.
Yeah.
You get what I
and
mean?
even
So-
sonically, yeah, not to just to kind of dovetail that point. When you hear a song like Peru, it just sounds seamless.
Oh, when he jumped on Peru?
When he jumped on Peru,
Yeah.
because versus like what's the other song called? Essence.
Yeah.
With Wizkid.
Yeah.
I didn't think it needed Justin Bieber.
It
on
didn't.
Yeah, personally.
Business-wise.
Big up Justin though. But yeah.
Yeah.
But Peru with Ed sounded so seamless.
Yeah.
But when you go into these points that you've made about the character, for me, it almost carries through sonically and spiritually.
Ed is man
Yeah.
You
them.
get what I'm saying?
Ed Sheeran is man
Because there
them.
was, it sounded right. It
Virginia-
didn't sound like someone just came in and tried to,
No, this is
That's
it.
you know what I
true.
mean, jump on board. And the
Yeah.
same thing with Chris Brown. You understand?
Obviously, Wiley had an outburst about Ed Sheeran, innit? At the point,
Okay.
he's a culture vulture. Ooh, that is
Oh,
a culture
really?
vulture. Yeah, at some time ago. But people's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, Ed.
Ed's our guy.
Yeah.
Ed wouldn't see man, and you say, let's do a song. He knows his popularity.
Yeah.
And like subconsciously, no ego thing, he's trying to, he rates man, and he wants to connect with man, knowing that he's going to put you in a certain spotlight.
Yeah.
Now, some people say different things about Drake. Drake's a culture vulture, or is he thing. I have my own opinions about that.
Yeah.
But that's where I say, Ed, he he understands, he respects, and I'm going to double down that you have to understand what you're doing,
Yeah.
and you have to have appreciation and know the culture and about it before you can actually start taking from it. You know what I mean? If you take from it, you wear, what's that American Indian outfit? What the American Indians,
yes,
Thanksgiving giving on Halloween, they wear it and they take it off.
Exactly.
So nothing. That's when the American Indians are like, you lot are mocking it.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing about the thing, but every
Halloween.
wear Pocahontas and what's the Red Hawk.
Yeah.
Red Hawk.
So sorry.
No, you got into one, but you know
ahead.
what? Even so, like, and it's funny, like, because I'm gonna bring the conversation slightly off music and talk about culture in general, because there's a conversation going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Whether black people should support themselves and not shop in South Asian shops.
Oh, okay.
It's a very it's a funny one. It's a funny one still, but it's currently going on.
Yeah.
And the conversation is basically like people are wearing the culture, using the culture, but not really giving anything back.
Yeah.
Like, in what spaces have these
hear you.
people given to that culture? It seems like a one-way exchange.
Yeah.
So whether you go to the hair shop to buy hair, like,
Yeah.
let me stop because
that is wild. For me, I'm just gonna say it's wild.
Okay,
what are
go
we
on.
doing for ourselves? What are we doing for ourselves?
I'm going mad again.
You can't say, man, we set up shops in the world. What have you? Let me just know. Emmavie, it's your show.
No, it's your show. I'm like trying to understand your perspective.
Yeah,
Like,
but it goes back to the to whether, you know, the appropriation element of it. It's just like where does the buck stop? It seems like everybody takes from this culture.
Yeah.
And there's not much coming back.
Yeah.
So with that said,
Yeah.
going back to music, because I don't want to go too far into that side of it.
Could we stay on that
Yeah,
topic
go
for 2
for it.
seconds?
Sure.
I like the fact you said that, by
Yeah,
the
I
way.
think the defining thing that you said when you're talking about, and what you said also about like what we're doing for ourselves, I think what can be like blindingly obvious to other like, people in other cultures about like the black community is that there's very often gaps in the market where we don't have our own. So there's very often like black hair shops, like you're saying, is that like, yes, there actually does exist. Like I don't know where it is, but there will be like a mega hair shop somewhere that's owned by a black person. Don't know, but I just don't know where it is. Exactly, online specifically, but actually like the Asian shop owners, they have like an infrastructure for like businesses that are like that. So it's just like, it's not only hair shops or like black food shops that are owned or Afro-Caribbean stores that are owned by like an Indian man. It's a lot of other things. They are just seeing gaps in the market and being like, oh, you know what? Here is a community of people who spend a lot, because the black people, we spend a lot. We consume a lot of like actual like material goods.
I think we're one of the biggest spenders globally, economically, apparently.
Exactly. Spend. It's like maybe in other cultures, people would like invest in different ways or like buy experiences, but we buy stuff a lot. So it's just like, and that is not lost on the rest of the world. It's just we buy stuff, but we probably don't sell as much stuff as we buy, and we don't sell our own things as much.
Tell that to a woman in Onisha market.
Yeah,
Tell her she doesn't sell enough.
Exactly. I think it's just on the scale. It's like you said, a market specifically. But if I thought about like a hair shop that's owned by a Pakistani man, I probably would assume he has 3. You know, I don't even want to name. I can see the branding, and I can be like, there's one in Halsden, there's one in Peckham, and there's one in Wood Green, and it's massive. And that's the difference, is that when we talk about business with black people, black-owned businesses, it feels like way more like homegrown and it's an individual. Whereas I think of an infrastructure sometimes when I think about like a shop owned by an Asian person that is like selling black material goods.
And you're right, you know, because like I remember back in the day I spoke to a few people working in Nine Elms market down there. Used to work with a team that used to manage that, right? So, and speaking to the black owners who are selling, I always used to ask, why are your prices so high? And I was told by someone in particular, the reason why my prices are so high is because the Indian people have a lock on the market. So when I go to the wholesalers,
Yeah.
they don't give it to me at the same price and value
That's
as they
interesting.
give it to the people from, you know, of Asian descent
Yeah.
or whatever, because they have like I said, an infrastructure,
Yeah.
and they already have proof
Exactly.
of
Yeah.
selling
Exactly.
because they
Yeah.
work as a community.
And they probably buy in
network.
much bigger
So they
bulk.
buy in bigger
Exactly.
bulk, and
Yeah.
so their re-up,
Yeah.
excuse the terminology, their re-up is a lot more than what, say, someone from the black community could bring.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that people always say that we're divided anyway. It's like, can you even make the sales that you're making? So
Yeah.
they're getting it at a much higher premium. Therefore, they have to sell at a higher premium,
Yeah.
and therefore don't make as much sales.
Yeah.
Everyone goes back to the Asian shops, and then it's back to square one again.
Yeah.
So
You said it.
it's
a-
tough.
Yeah,
it's a
you
good
just said
thing.
it.
It's a
Yeah.
good thing.
It's also a cycle. Like,
Yeah.
if you're talking about the same people not being able to have the same like business opportunities, they're also the people who have to buy stuff. So ultimately, it's like black people are like disenfranchised on every level. In that, like, if I'm a person who needs to buy something, I need to buy it cheap because we are like on the like lower economic scale as a majority. It's not true of everyone, but as a majority, most of us are like working class. So it's that we're the people who have to find the bargains, and we're also the people that when we're trying to get a leg up, the price is higher for us, so we have less opportunity. And all of that is by design. So it's like it's not the fault of any of black
Right.
people or the black community.
I really like the way you articulated that,
Yeah.
and it's been. Imagine there could be a whole nother conversation on that topic alone, but let's bring us back to the music element of it,
Yeah.
man,
No,
because
that-
we'll definitely get lost. It is relevant,
It's
so
very relevant,
but
yeah.
at the same time, you know, for the purpose
Purpose
of
of
time, is there a risk that? Do you think there's a risk that you know, in terms of the music, people from outside of the culture might try to claim Afrobeats for themselves in the future?
Never happen.
No?
Never.
Never.
It's so like, unless we're going thousands of years into the future where we won't even be there to like be able to say, oh, this thing was documented. I think because of the internet, like everything is documented. I don't know what's going to happen in 300 years. Actually, everything we're doing right now might be so like archaic that it's obsolete, and everything that historically has been captured will suddenly like disappear.
Yeah.
But I think there's just too much evidence of where Afrobeats came from. It would literally be if like the people of the future just didn't care about history anymore.
But there's going to be that one person that says, yeah, but if it weren't for pop,
It went for Elvis. Yeah.
If it wasn't for
if it weren't for
Elvis,
Elvis,
there would be no Burna Boy.
Mad. No Michael
What in
Jackson.
the world?
yeah, they're the ones.
You never know. You never
Yeah.
know. Can't be surprised.
What would you say to that? How do you answer that question?
In regards to whether it could be taken, I
Yeah.
think nothing surprises me in this world.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I've lived long enough to see enough cycles,
Yeah.
and I know that everything comes in cycles.
Yeah.
So when people say this thing is over or that thing is over, I'm like, why do you think that?
Yeah.
Because from what I've seen, things
Come
happen
back.
to come back again.
Yeah.
Just because you put it in the washing machine, clean it, take it out, it's still the same set of clothes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's just been cleaned and rephrased.
Yeah.
So I would say that it is possible. I'm not saying it will happen, but I would say it's definitely possible. How it happens, that's the mystery, and that's what keeps it happening, because it's hard to predict how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you don't know how something's going to happen, you don't know how to stop it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but it's
That's a
possible. It's
good
very,
point.
very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I just hope it didn't happen.
I like
I'm
that.
leaning more to what you're saying. I don't think it would happen. But
Not with
yeah.
Afrobeats.
Yeah.
I can see how it happened.
Why don't you think it will
Yeah.
happen?
I don't know. There's too much of a core. Okay, Afrobeats has come at a time when, like, let's have it right. Yeah, Afrobeats a fusion of a lot of music. You've got the Caribbean influence growing up in the 80s. You know, Buju Banton and Sizzla in the 90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We used to listen to them in Nigeria. Also, we had the hip hop guys. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
influence. So, in a nutshell, what influence? Afrobeat is the influence of all those things.
Yeah. But
You know what I
specifically,
mean?
But
So
here's
what
the
I'm trying
kicker.
to say,
on it.
Here's
so,
the
yeah. So what I'm
Go
trying
on.
to say, so where we are now, it's like a transformer, like a Voltron of all those music that
True.
makes
I
Afrobeats.
agree.
Because Afrobeats,
But
you can
you've
play-
got
hold on.
reggae people now today saying that Africans don't give them the credit for their hand in Afrobeats.
Some Africans.
Some,
But-
I think some
But
people.
I hear it often.
Yeah.
No, some, and we're gonna debunk that myth today. You know what I mean? African Afrobeats is a fusion of hip hop, R&B, reggae, and dare I say, no, those main three, and soul. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say, it's a combination of all those things, and that's where it is now. You can play Afrobeat in a christening, in a 40-year-old birthday party with blue lights and red lights in. You can play it at a child's party.
Yeah.
It's so globally
It's very
accepted.
global.
It's friendly music.
Yeah.
You can't play hardcore hip hop. You can't play certain ragga tunes. You can't play certain soul tunes.
point.
That's got bare thingy.
I've been to a few
So,
places, so go on.
I just
Let me
want to say,
finish your point.
like, I'm with you, Emmavie, on it. Like, I hope so,
Yeah.
because music in general is at a place where Afrobeats is its final form in terms of music.
I'm with you lot on I hope so. I'm not with you on it can't happen again.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
I can't stick there.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
But all the points that you made, you're right. As I said,
Fair enough.
in the last couple of years, I've been to many places. Turkey,
Yeah.
for example, Dubai, and all of these countries, just for reference, are banging Afrobeats.
That's true.
Afrobeats is the main music playing out there. So that tells you what kind of a reach Afrobeats,
It's global,
the
man.
impact it's
Do
had.
you think that like people in Turkey are listening to Afrobeats and they don't know where it comes from?
Probably.
Do you think so?
Really?
They're just enjoying.
I feel like that's true. There'll be
They're
some
just-
people who are just like, this is just music.
It's
When you
small
listen to
minority,
Arab,
small
when you
minority.
think about what Arabic music sounds
Yeah.
like, what you telling me you can't hear a fusion thing going on potentially? They might not even know it's coming from that is coming from an African artist. They might just think it's a new form of
What
creativity.
Arab beats? What Arab?
Yeah. When you hear them, like you know what I mean. Again,
I
places
don't
I've
think
been,
I make-
Morocco, Tunisia, like
Yeah.
I hear music and it can easily.
You know-
I'm talking from a DJ's perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not a DJ, but I know music.
Yeah.
And I can mix some of them tunes
Together.
into some of these tunes.
But
So-
I don't think, you know what, I think what you're saying, sorry to cut you off.
Go on.
I think what you're saying is that like the genres share similarities because there's only so many drum patterns, and ultimately like we're all kind of like, when you start doing fusion music, we're all kind of like borrowing. But when I've listened to Arabic music, even if it has like a certain African element, it's still very clearly Arab music,
That's
and
their
in a way that's
signature.
really difficult to borrow. Like when you hear like Timbaland sampling, I'm not going to think, is that an African sample or is it an Arabic? I'm going to know immediately that that's like Arabic music.
But is that you though? Because you sound
Yeah,
well educated on your topics. You're also an artist
Yeah.
who's doing it.
yeah,
So you look at
The
the
normal
world from
Tom,
a
the normal
different
Bob,
pair of
yeah.
eyes.
yeah,
Yeah,
We got to look at the
Bobby.
casual consumer.
yeah. You know what I would say? I'd always give everyone credit because I think when you do know something really intimately, you start to assume that it isn't like easy knowledge to acquire. And when I'm just always going to give listeners the credit that you don't have to be able to make music to understand it really
The
like
identity.
deeply. And I think the thing that like I can say almost categorically with music from other cultures is that it isn't hard to distinguish where that thing has come from, in a way that like Afrobeats is more complicated. But if I'm like going to like traditional music from another country, I would be able to recognize Indian music straight away. I'd be able to recognize Chinese music, traditional Chinese music straight away. And it's like, I can do that with more traditional African genres, but Afrobeats, like you said, there'll
It's
be
a
some
different-
like reggae influence in there. And,
Exactly.
like, so I don't think we're the only people who can listen to music and be like, this is Arabic music. I actually think when it comes from different cultures, everybody can kind of tell. Black music is really difficult. It's more, not really, it's more difficult to do that with.
Black music is difficult. Afrobeat versus dancehall sometimes gets a bit facey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shatta Wale on a certain song. Is Shatta Wale doing Afrobeat on Afrobeats, or is he singing Afrobeats on a dancehall?
tune.
Exactly.
That's when
Or
it gets
even
a
like
bit
grime and drill and like all these sort of things that feel like they came out of like the UK or they came out of Chicago and New York, but like people are using the same like hip hop flows or like grime flows on a beat that's like, it's because it's so digital and there's a real essence to it. But like when I listen to drill music, sometimes I'm not exactly sure if this is drill because it's going through a particular fusion, and there's more like black cultures to consider outside of even just African music.
Very true.
Like
So I hear you,
American.
though.
Very true.
I hear you.
Very
I hear
true.
you.
Yeah.
But I hear you. Yeah. But in Afro, in terms of reggae, urban black music,
Yeah.
you can identify it, man.
Burna Boy says he doesn't
We're
want to be
gonna through it.
identified as an Afrobeats artist.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I think he wants to get to the bag. And I feel like he understands that.
So why is
like,
he kicking people out of his concert?
I think
Tyler,
also
she's
you get
talented.
ahead of yourself. I think when you get so famous, you start feeling untouchable. I think specifically what Burna Boy is probably talking about is when you get to like Grammy level and they need to categorize your music. When your music is categorized as like African music, I think they have it under one category, like
Yeah.
world music or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. It's not even like African music. And
Yeah.
it's like literally every music that isn't like, what's the word, Western music has just one genre, and that doesn't even get televised. So when the Grammys goes on the TV now and you're seeing Doja Cat up there and you're seeing Kendrick Lamar going up and you're seeing Sabrina Carpenter, they won't show Burna Boy winning a Grammy for world music.
Because he's genre, selection of genre.
Exactly. And there's a certain like level of accolade that like he should be entitled to, and he understands that like calling his music Afrobeat or calling it like African music immediately, like, what's the word? It just
Pigeonholes him.
Yeah, pigeonholes him. And it's like, that's why I'm like, he wants to get to the bag. It's not that, I don't think, at least, I don't know, and I haven't spoken to him. I don't think he's rejecting the culture, like, what I'm doing is bigger than African music. I think he's like, it's bigger than the like credit that African music gets because it's global. It is like globally recognized as a mainstream sound that he's doing. But I think he hasn't articulated himself very well.
I think because I was about to go in.
Yeah.
I was loading. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Listen, I
But
had a couple
no.
pellets still. But no, I think that's the overriding point. He hasn't
Yeah.
articulated himself very well.
Yeah.
Which I'm finding the more I see things about Burna Boy, he seems to do that a lot.
Yeah.
He seems to be misinterpreted and misread on everything that he says, but he needs to get better with his
100%.
media training.
Yes.
And say things in a way that lands
Yeah.
with not just his audiences but the audiences outside,
That's
so
true.
people can
Correct
assume, oh,
intention.
you're selling out, or are
Yeah.
you doing this? So like, because for me, you can't come from Afrobeats and then say I'm not an Afrobeats
Yeah.
artist. That's mad.
Yeah.
That's like, listen, if a grime artist jumps on a rap beat,
Yeah.
you're a grime artist on a rap beat.
Yeah.
You understand?
True.
You don't automatically become a rapper.
Yeah.
No. So, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You get-
Who are we to tell them that?
well, we're not anybody,
Freedom
but
of
at the end of the
creative
day,
freedom.
it's out there. It's out there for people to talk, and people are talking. So whether or not he thinks he's above it or not, I think the point is just come back to it. You're right. He needs to articulate himself
Yeah.
better. I think
Yeah.
it's fair to just leave it at that.
Yeah.
No.
On that particular
Fairs.
topic. That
Right.
point.
Ooh.
What happens next?
What happens next?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Again, because you mentioned this earlier.
Yeah.
So, artists like Lucas Okotie, right?
Is that the person you sent me?
Oh, God, here we
Oh
go.
my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, how do you feel about this Caucasian male?
Yeah.
Just as an example, and again, there have been others before him, because I don't want to make it like it's just about Lucas
Yeah.
Okotie. There's been what's the other guy's name? Not Afro. What's his name?
I hope it wouldn't
Be
be Afro or
Young.
something.
Be Young.
Okay.
Ring ring one.
Yeah, okay.
But that's different. There's Afro swing. Anyway,
Yeah.
cool. But let's talk about Lucas Okotie. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this Caucasian male making Afro beats music? I mean, like real Afro beats music, adopting the culture, eating the food,
Yeah.
getting his hands sticky,
Yeah.
doing all that. Like,
You know,
like
I feel like
I think he's from Liverpool, if I'm not wrong. So he's a
that's
Scouser.
That's
So you
great.
know when it's
No
but why is it
shade.
only acceptable when it's from London? If he's from London, everybody would be
I don't
banging the
think-
drum. He's
I
from
don't
Liverpool.
think so. You know what I would say about him specifically, and like why I haven't got a problem with Be Young is I feel like maybe it's my own problem and I need to investigate myself. I feel like if the music is like exceptional, I'm gonna let it. Like I'm gonna give it a bly.
Yeah.
What do you say his name? Lucas Zanetti.
Lucas-
no
Lu-
shade to
Lucas
Luca at all.
Zakotti,
Zakotti, sorry,
Zakotti.
my bad.
Yeah. Zakotti.
I don't have anything against him.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just when I heard the music, I wasn't like, whoa, this is what I need to listen to. Immediately, I was just like, he's doing he's mimicking the culture. He hasn't learned it. The same way that you said, like Ed Sheeran's done the research and he's really embraced the culture and he's making and like it's indistinguishable from other like Afrobeats artists when he goes onto a song. Whereas with Justin Bieber, you can kind of feel that disconnect. It's like, oh, he was just trying to ting. I think with Luca, is it Zakotti?
Zakotti.
I'm not going to
Zakotti.
remember, my bad.
Zakotti.
This is going to not
You-
clip
you
very
don't
well,
like him,
sorry.
do you?
I don't
You don't
not
like
like him.
him.
It's not
You don't
even
like him.
personal. I think there is like what I was saying in the beginning about cultural appropriation, kind of like wearing culture as a costume. The eating of like Nigerian food. I mean, he can be around Nigerian people, but like
Liverpool has a very
everywhere does.
heavy. No, but I'm
No,
saying
but
Liverpool and
multicultural.
Nigeria.
Yeah,
Mix.
it's like the same.
I wouldn't say it's the same, but they have in
History.
particular areas they have a
Yeah.
very strong history together. So you
But
have a lot.
he
of,
wasn't born in
you know,
Nigeria. I think you're talking about the Nigerian people in
But he's going to
Liverpool.
their houses and he's eating that food before he puts it on camera.
I am like, my Indian friends come to my house and they eat the food and then they don't go
Yeah, she
and
don't-
put it
she
on
don't
camera.
believe him.
It's like,
And
it's
that's what
not
it is.
believable. And I
That's
think
what it is.
actually like there is a threshold. I think with him, what he's clearly doing is he wants to be in music and like pop. He's someone who suffers from not knowing the like cultural, like the richness of
Sacredness.
African music. And he's just borrowing something that is now looks mainstream, and he wants to capitalize from that. I think the problem I have is how much of a costume he's wearing of the culture, because ultimately what happens when like what do you call it? White people come into black spaces. That we do welcome them with open arms, but then they hit a particular trajectory that black people could never. And it's like, he needs to be more aware of the space he's taking up, because like I said to you in our previous conversation, there's 100, if not 100,000 Afrobeats artists that aren't having a viral moment in the way that he is, that is going to like, what do you call it, I'm going to say catapult him into success.
But let's not act like he just got there. And I'll give you, I'll drop a little gem here. Yeah, I saw this guy in Liverpool about 5 years ago
Yes.
in some club. The man that who I went with, know what I'm talking about. He was in some back-end club. There weren't really anyone in the club.
Yeah.
And he was performing with his fur jacket, still doing Afro beats. It looked like the weirdest thing to me.
Yeah.
So, and I'm talking about, this is what, 5-6 years ago now.
Yeah.
So this guy hasn't just turned up.
Yeah.
He's been grinding in his city and putting in work
Yeah.
to put
She
himself
still
in position
don't- she
to
still
get
don't
that
believe
viral
him.
moment.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, innit? Because this is something that I've seen.
Yeah.
So I can't just let things go unchallenged and unchecked
hear it.
without
Do you
providing
believe him?
all the
Do you
information.
believe him?
I don't have to believe him. I just think the tune was okay.
Okay.
When I first saw him, I laughed. I won't
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
I found it hilarious. The man them were laughing. We were busting up. A group
Yeah.
of Caribbean and African bros. We were busting up. We found it hilarious.
Yeah.
6 years on, he's going viral, and the tune is it's a well-produced song.
Is he going viral for the music? Because if it wasn't attached to the image,
Yeah.
like this white man, I don't remember what he's eating. Maybe he's sit down eating a
Gussie
goosey.
soup, yeah, pounded
Of course
yam.
he
Just
is.
chop in a
I
goosey,
feel
man.
like, firstly, that's
Might have
like
been
kind
okra
of
with a draw.
Exactly, exactly. I think there's so much about the like, I don't know, circus. It's like a pub.
This
Like
word
there's
circus.
something.
It's a starter kit.
do you know what I
Afrobeat
mean?
starter kit.
It's exactly that.
Afrobeat starter
Afrobeat
kit.
starter kit. That almost
Rag
feels like
bada.
exactly.
Trump.
That
Yeah.
if he'd like made it a little bit funnier, it would start
You know
turning
what I
into
mean? Sick.
mockery.
Yeah, you gotta go on.
Yeah.
But there's
like
loads
a
of
year.
people that do that though. Online, man, how many people were going viral? And I hear what you're saying because
Yeah.
I feel a way when I see everybody going to the weddings and there's always an Instagram reel or something. Like, and there's millions of likes. I'm like,
Yeah.
why is this so impressive to you?
Yeah.
Like, why are thousands and millions of
is the
people
UK,
liking
innit?
this?
Yeah.
The difference with him is that his song, for me, is a listenable song.
Okay.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
Do I feel it? I need to listen to it again to know I feel it, to be honest. But it's listenable, innit?
Yeah.
Those other people, like, it's the way of the world. Everyone doing dancing, spraying money.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this old white man from Norfolk spraying money, million views.
Yeah.
Look at this person doing Willy Bounce, million views. It's like,
you know what?
yo.
I think like the world on that exact point, the world rewards novelty, and like the reason those things are so popular is because it's like it feels out of place and it feels new. Whereas if a
Every
black
time?
person, that's the problem.
seeing
It's
it so
every
much.
time.
How new
and
can
I
it
think
be?
exactly it isn't. I think actually we're just
But
kind
it's
of
different.
programmed to reward that. As soon as we see a white person doing the Azonto, we're like, I have something makes me need to like this because oh god, he's doing really good or he's doing it really badly. I think like
An
what
Asian person singing Chris Brown.
Yeah.
You see it flying around TikTok. People like it. It's just different.
because it's the
away from
novelty.
the norm.
Exactly. And I
You know
think
what I'm saying?
I think where the harm comes in is the fact that like in all of those things that black people are creating, we would never be rewarded in the same way. And I think ultimately if you're making something and it comes from like a deeper place for you,
Right.
and it is like embedded in your culture, so you're doing it as a cultural practice and you want to make a living out of that, and then you watch someone come in and borrow the things that you've done and actually learn from like your home and through your ancestors and things like that, getting 1 million likes just eating a goosey soup at a kitchen table, when like if a black person did that, it could never be a viral moment.
like
I think the problem is that like, okay, like we know very much how like society is set up, and we can't remove all of this stuff from like that context. In reality, there's drawbacks to being a black artist, if it's specifically in music, even just a black person, that like other cultures will actually benefit from. So it's that like there's things that we do that will be demonized for.
Right.
Like if like anything that like as soon as a white person wears that costume, they're celebrated, and if anything, they start to profit from it. And I think that's where the problem is. Is that like his music is not good enough for me to be like, it was worth him taking the spot of like the next Burna Boy or the next Wizkid. That's my main point, is that like good enough. I'm a music snob, so it's like, and I'd admit that like I really love really good quality music, and I think no shade to him as well. What he did is like, it's okay because it can go out in the world and it's listenable. Listenable is not good enough for me if you're taking someone else's spot. Like that 1 million likes that he's getting could have been an Afrobeats artist, and that person would be able to.
He's an Afrobeats artist.
Yeah, okay, not the culture. I mean, like, not the genre. I mean, like, culturally, could have been an African person. Or black person, just generally.
Because and it's good that you said that, because and I had to say he is Afrobeat because I've never heard him make anything else.
Yeah.
So guys, like what I was saying about Burna Boy, right? You're an Afrobeats artist. You just happen to be of the Caucasian persuasion.
True. You know what, the other thing I was going to say, I hear that, yes, he's an Afrobeats artist. The minute and I don't know if it's going to happen for him specifically because I don't think he's that good, but if he was really good, again, please, sorry, if you see this, it's not guns to you, it's just like I'm making a general
She's saying
point.
a point, everyone's got an opinion.
Exactly. If he blows up, I could bet money on the fact that he would switch up the genre he's making. I can bet it will get to a certain point and then he will be like, I can be white. And what's going to happen? He's going to start making pop music. Naturally, it happens across like everything. There's a lot of people who have like ridden on the coattails of black culture, made a particular hit YouTube channel, I won't mention what, and then like never invited black people back to it as soon as it got popular enough to have famous people on it. There's a lot of instances of that in our culture. Exactly. And I think that like, we'll see it. I mean, okay, I'll use an example. Justin Timberlake. It's like,
I didn't want to say, but yeah.
the thing is, I love Justin Timberlake.
Cold,
just
man.
post NSYNC. Justified is it's literally one of my favorite
It's a banger.
albums.
It's a banger.
And I'm like very aware of, he got to a particular point and he's just like, I'm gonna make country music because at least people couldn't say I'm like appropriating a culture anymore, because the reality is that he was and he did like capitalize off of like mimicking black music or just being in this
So
space.
you don't think he was ever really in that R&B like that?
No, I think he was. I just think he realized that like the bag is bigger when you're making music for like white people. And I think white artists get to that
You
point.
don't
They're
think he
like,
got scared out of the genre?
do you think?
Because
It's
Justin
a
Timberlake was
mix of both. He definitely was an
And for
R&B.
real.
I'm a fan of Justin Timberlake, but I can
Also
also
Timberland
like
brought him
criticize people that I'm a fan of. I think the reality is for a lot of artists, Post Malone being another one, is that you get to a certain level and it's like your audience wants to be a global one. They remember that they're white and they don't need to make black music anymore.
Phew, man. It's been a crazy
yeah.
episode,
No, it's
man.
proper, this.
It's a lot of food for thought, man. And again, Emma, you've like already, because we're coming to the end.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even before we get to closing, amazing guest. Like,
Trust me.
I've learned a
great
lot from this conversation. And that's the whole purpose of us being here on this table, on this screen, talking to you guys. It's about living and learning together. So I'm learning, he's learning, she's learning,
And I
you're
know
learning.
100%.
So
This is a tale of the trauma, the survival, and the recovery of a domestic abuse survivor. This is Legacy by Tami Byron, available on Amazon, in Kindle, hardcover, and paperback. Links in the description. If you purchase using the WLWL10 promo code, you get 10% off. How about that? This isn't just any book. It's self-care therapy for less than half the price of a session, coming from a real person with a real story to tell. With 31 chapters and just over 230 pages, trust me, I know. This book won't just be sitting by your bedside, it will sit beside your heart and not above it. Legacy by Tami Byron, available now.
no, it's been a very, very, very good conversation, man. Bro, before we do the outros, let's get her involved in the in the quick fire round.
Quick fire one, yes. All right, so
Okay.
yeah. Something, before you go, it's called appropriator.
Or appreciator.
Yes.
Yeah?
Okay.
So we're going to give
Just
you
that
some
one
names.
word.
All
We
right.
need from
Fire
you.
the names, and you're going to say appropriator,
Or appreciator.
appreciator.
Oh, I'm curious. So let's see.
All right?
Number 1, J-Lo.
Ooh. Appropriator. Somewhere in the middle, actually.
You can't have the middle.
Only one.
Oof.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Appropriator.
Appropriator.
Drake.
Appropriator.
Tyler.
What? Tyler is in the singer, Tyler. I feel like her music is like really clearly like South African. So I'd say appreciator. One, I don't think she's borrowing from any culture. I don't know anyways. Yeah.
Central C.
Appropriator. He doesn't know it. It's unintentional. I think a lot of people who do, they're not aware that they're doing that.
Pink.
Appropriator.
Ed Sheeran.
Appreciator. Now you convinced me because I might have.
Yeah.
I can be strong on like this, and with the points you've made, I can give him a pass.
Yeah. Well done.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
Fire round, man.
Yeah. All right. So
Ooh.
no, that's been good. It's been a wholesome episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And you don't go into it.
Yeah. We're still gonna listen. It's not over.
Exactly.
We're not gonna switch off.
We're gonna have this debate still.
It was really good. But before we let you go,
Yeah.
Emmavie, please tell our viewers where they can see you, follow you, and what you got coming up, man.
Gosh.
Your camera, sorry.
Okay, if you search Emmavie, everything was just EMMAVIE. I'm on Instagram. I don't really post TikToks too often, but my music is the thing I want you to go and listen to. So like, make sure you hit the follow button when you go to Spotify, Apple Music, so that like you're just notified when I drop some new music. 'Cause I'm working on some new music at the moment. Otherwise, yeah, I've got like a lengthy back catalogue. So even if it's not about my new music, go listen to that old stuff. And that's me.
Yeah, and you're doing a lot of good stuff at the Cube.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So I'm in marketing here at Cube, and I produce a lot of events. A lot of what I'm wanting to do is like really inject culture into Cube, and
Yeah.
it be like legitimate, like it not be pretending to having a cultural impact on the music. And then also it's like the purpose is to like further people's careers when they come here. So a lot of it's educational as well as like networking, so
Sick.
people can meet people they can work with. Big you guys up.
Big up the Jermaines, the Lilias,
The Dannies,
the Neils,
the Grace,
the Grays, the
team goes on, man.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah. massive
everybody.
team,
Listen, man, we
There's no
can't
hiding
shout
team.
everybody out. But again, man, we're just happy to be here working as part of a team, being able to deliver this wonderful content to you. So please make sure you subscribe, like, hit the bell so that you get all the alerts. We're here. We're always posting. Things are always going on. Shout out RMDA Network, who
Proud sponsors.
power
Make
this
the
whole
things happen.
this
Trust
whole
me.
machine. You get me? So, but yeah, man. Hui.
Hey, and we start as we finished. So
Yes.
we finish as we started. We live,
We learn.
we learn.
We're live.
Wow.
Do you know what? Emma's learned it too.
I have.
You know what?
Oh, yeah. No, you're getting it wrong. I know what I'm doing. You got it wrong the second time.
Exactly,
Got it.
man. Come
Yeah.
on, bro.
Got it.
Come on, I know.
man. Shout out everybody.
She's been
Big up.
initiated.
I've been
Pass
initiated.
it.
Treat her as you treat us, yeah?
Probably gonna have
We're
me on
out.
as the third
Right.
person.
Yeah.
We live and learn my life. 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 Formidable, no compromise. From localize, we globalize. You want the mind to pay the price. You open eyes and realize.
We live to learn, yeah, we're out to earn. Teach the thing, and that's that.